want to preface this video. This is my own opinion. It's not trying to push it on anybody. I'm just giving my opinion. It's important today that people take a stand, draw the line in the sand. Because if you don't, then you're opening yourself up to ridicule. You're opening yourself up to, I mean, you're going to get ridiculed anyway, but you have to have values. That's what I believe. You have to have values. You have to have things you believe in. You can't just sit on the fence. And I see a lot of people sitting on the fence, trying to appease both sides of any argument. That's impossible. You have to have your values, and whether or not you agree with my values or I don't agree with your values, it doesn't really matter. There's a reason why we have a First Amendment, why it is the First Amendment in this country, because it's very important to be able to express your ideas. When you cross over the line, you start persecuting people, you start using violence, physical or non-physical forms of violence, that's when it's wrong. But just having a difference of opinion, it shouldn't be a big deal. And unfortunately, that's the crux of our whole society now, is that people have different opinions, and whatever side it may be, just can't stand the fact that there's a different opinion out there. I obviously am on one side of the argument, so I think it's more the other side that's being ignorant and bigoted. But again, that's because I'm on that one side of the argument, and I'm also not ashamed to be on that side of the argument. I don't really care what you think. You can call me a racist, you can call me this, you can call me that. I don't really fucking care. I don't care. Better, I don't care at all. You can go fuck yourself. I think so. Knowing that, I think we can end this debate if we think rationally about this. And I'm going to talk about critical race theory. We can end this debate if we just realize the truths here. And there are truths. Even though one side doesn't want to admit it, there's truths in this argument. First truth is that racism does exist, and racism is bad. Okay? Now notice that sentence. I said racism does exist and racism is bad. I don't think there's any side of the argument that can't agree with that. Okay? I think that's a pretty much bona fide 100% truth. Can't argue with that. Universal truth. Yes, it does exist, and it's bad. Okay, that being said, this is where the nuance is. Is it as big a problem as some people like to make it out of? No. No, I may be wrong about that, but that's a point that can be argued. That's a point that needs studying. That's a point that, we should have a discussion about. And frankly, according to my opinion, we've been having that discussion for over 60 years now. Basically since the civil rights movement, we've been having that discussion, and we've made moves and we've made progress on that front. I don't think there's any doubt of that. I mean, just look at the proof. The proof is in the pudding, as I say. We had a black president. There's black people in all forms of life, all walks of life, that are successful. I think we have made progress. That's undeniable to me. Again, there might be some people that don't agree, and that's fine. That's fine. But that's something we can debate. Now, having that debate right now, if you're like me, who thinks that it's not a big a problem as people make it out to be, you're called a racist. You're called a apologizer. Whatever bad name they can come up with. And I'm sorry, but that's just wrong. Just because I have a difference of opinion on it. That's one part of it. Now here's another part of it. Having my opinion about it, I'm going to point out the things that are wrong on the other side of the argument. Because it's gone way past the point of having a discussion about it. It's gone way past the point of, oh, you think one way, I think the other way. It's gone to the point that now some people are making up shit to prove their point. Now, there's one thing to argue an argument with fact and reason, and there's another point to just make up shit. You know, just a few examples. 1619 Project, the fact that cops are killing black people just indiscriminately. You know, no, the data says no, those things aren't true, but this is what's being argued, this is what's being pushed. You know, white fragility. All white people are racist, inherently racist. They can't say anything about it. They have their opinion doesn't matter. They should just bow down to the black man. These are all false things, totally provable to be false. But yet this is what's getting pushed in the mainstream. This is what's getting pushed at the highest levels of power. The president is even saying these things. Okay? This is very, very, very dangerous when it gets to that point. And unfortunately, it's gotten to that point. You know? And if you told me 5 years ago that we'd be arguing about race, you know, to the point that we are now, I would have said you're smoking crack. But here we are. Again, it goes back to what is real and what is just made up opinion to sway the argument. You know, what is real? Have we made progress? Yes, we have made progress. Is it 100% unequivocally perfect? Of course not. But then again, everything in life is not 100% unequivocally perfect. That's a pipe dream. Should we just, you know, for people that are like me, just cut off the conversation? No. I'm down for that conversation anytime. You want to have that conversation? That's fine. Yes, we could do things to make things better. We could do that. Obviously, you can always make things better. Again, what is universal truth? That's a universal truth. We can always make things better. You know, not everything. Sometimes things are just good the way they are. You know, but to push things that aren't true and to put a blanket statement over stuff that all white people are racist. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that. I probably have a different opinion than a lot of people because I did grow up in a racially diverse place, not like a lot of other people. But that still shouldn't change the truth, you know, that we should treat each other not by their race, but by the values and their actions that they do. I think that's unequivocally true. Your race shouldn't be your defining factor. But that is exactly what is getting pushed. White fragility. Because you're white, you may have never done anything racist in your life, but you're racist because you're white. No, absolutely not. I reject that notion 100%. 100%. I'm not saying that there's, and the way they twist that argument is, oh, so you're saying that racism? No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying that to throw a blanket over the whole situation is wrong and dangerous at the same time. Really dangerous. Because, especially with this argument, you are turning people racist black people that weren't racist to begin with, but were kind of on the fence, like, they hear this, you know, and someone, if they're impressionable, they'll start to believe this crap. So there might have been someone who was not really racist. Now they're racist. Now they literally hate white people. And I think that's been proven over and over. I mean, you can just go look on YouTube and see the amount of hate that is put against white people. And some of their argument is, oh, it's justified because of what they did to us in the past. I'm sorry, you're completely wrong about that. It's not justified. Racism is never justified. Never justified. I don't care what your reason is. It's not justified. There's no justification for it. People shouldn't be judged for what their fucking parent did. People shouldn't be judged for what their grandfather did. People shouldn't be judged for what their great-great-great-grandfather did. But that's what's going on right now. You know, and some of these people arguing this weren't even alive during the civil rights struggle in the 60s. A lot of young people, you know, and they're pretending because, again, people are telling them, people are influencing their brains with this. They're pretending like it is, you know. It's not, but it's headed that way, and in the reverse way. It's making black people racist. And if that's your idea of solving a problem, again, go back to what I first said, racism does exist, so i.e. it is a problem. Debate about whether it's a big problem or not, but it's still a problem. Well, you don't deal with the problem by just perpetuating it, you know? Black people can't be racist. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit. Just look at that black lady in California that got pulled over by the cops. I'm sorry. I define that person as racist. And what she did was racist. Not only that, it was totally disrespectful and totally rude and just totally asinine, you know? But again, she has a right to be like that. She really does. You know, if we believe in the First Amendment, she can be like that. It's wrong, you know? It's wrong, but she has a right to be like that. The bigger question is it going to further our society? Is it going to fix this? No, it's not. It's just making more of the problem. So in this great quest to eradicate racism, these idiots, and I truthfully believe this, they're idiots, are pushing racism, are acting in a racist way, are using racial rhetoric to fight this problem. Now, that's gotta be one of the most backward things ever created. You're gonna throw fire on the fire. You're gonna throw gasoline on the fire to put it out. But there we go. That's where we're at. And everybody that's pushing this narrative, everybody that believes this crap, that's what you're doing. You're just throwing gasoline on the damn fire. And it's, again, affected all the way to the top, all the way to the very seats of power in our country. It's gone all the way. And I think they're using it for a more nefarious means. But that's another debate. But I look at the situation like this. My responsibility is to treat my fellow human being with respect and dignity. That's it. It's not my responsibility to hold your hand. It's not my responsibility to pick you up and get you where you think you need to go. It's not my responsibility to stroke your ego. No. And I think that's a lot of the problem with white liberals that push this shit, is they think it's their responsibility to help the person of color. No, it's not your responsibility. Your only responsibility, and I'll repeat it again, is to treat them with dignity and respect. That's it. That's where it begins and ends. There's no person of color in my life that's holding me up, that's holding my hand, that's doing favors for me because of my color. Nor would I want that person in my life to do that. It's my responsibility to bring myself up. My responsibility. Nobody else's. That's what should be fucking taught. That's what should be said about the racial issue. Is you know what? Yes, there has been transgressions in the past. Yes, racism still does exist. But the only way to combat it is with love and understanding. I know it sounds corny, but it's the truth. That's it. Giving people handouts, stroking their ego, telling them that yes, all white people are fucking evil. That's not dignity and respect. And in your quest to help these people up, you're actually bringing them down with this rhetoric. Because now, they're turning it into racism in reverse. And I don't know how you can't look at it any other way. I really don't. Again, you can't. And another thing that's wrapped up in this is trying to erase the past. Oh, that statue of that guy, he was a slave owner. We need to tear that down. Oh, that statue offends me. Da, 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 da. Oh, soap is racist. Oh, you know, chess pieces, that's racist because it's white against black and white always gets to go first. Checker pieces are racist because it's pitting red against white, i.e. pitting Native Americans against black people. That's racist. It sounds like I'm making this up, but I've seen all these arguments. Somebody took the time to actually write articles about this kind of shit. That's how far it's gone. That's how ridiculous it is. Chess pieces are racist. Totally missing the mark. Totally missing the mark. And there are some black thinkers out there that are saying the right things and they're talking about this, but they're not getting listened to because the people that believe in this shit just shut them down and say, oh, they're a traitor. They're a white apologizer. You know? They're an Uncle Tom. When they're the only people in the room that are making the right argument. You know, Candace Owens, John McWhorter, Glenn Lowry, Coleman Hughes, Brandon Tatum. These are smart people that are saying the truth of the matter. Okay? And they're getting rejected by their own race because it's not the mainstream narrative. You know? Telling people they're a victim is not going to help them. Especially when they're not really a victim. Is it horrible when a black person gets killed by the police? Yes. But how much of that is just fluff and how many people is actually really looking at the problem? Yes, it's horrible that black man got killed but what was he doing? What was he doing? Oh, he was waving a gun at him? Well, that changes the whole narrative. If he was just walking down the street minding his own business, then we have a problem. But he's waving a gun at the cops? No, you lost me right there. You lost me. No. That has nothing to do with racial problems now. That has everything to do with someone breaking the law. And I'm sorry, but breaking the law transcends race. Anybody can break the law. Anybody can be a fucking idiot. It doesn't matter your fucking race. But you see how they twist it. Instead of putting their responsibility on the individual, they say, oh, it's a repressive system. Again, I reject that notion. Yeah, you might have had something bad happen to you. You might have been oppressed. Whatever it may be your situation. That doesn't give you the right to go and break the law. It doesn't, no matter what horrible thing happened to you. Oh, this black man, he was killed by the police. Well, what was he doing? Well, they were at his house serving a search warrant because he's a drug dealer. Again, you lost me there, buddy. I don't care. To me, that's somebody who's poisoning his neighborhood, somebody who's a parasite, somebody that doesn't give a fuck about anything but himself. I'm sorry, you lost me. I don't give a fucking shit that he got shot. I don't. But again, that's not what's important, yeah? What's important is that a black man got killed. This is dangerous shit. When you start making up shit, when you start twisting the narrative to push a falsehood that only divides people. Oh, the police is a problem. We need to abolish the police. That's not going to fix the underlying problem, the real source of the problem. It's not going to fix it. It's only going to make it worse. But hey, sounds like a good idea, right? Let's just do it. No, it's not a good idea. Just look at all those places that have done it. They're suffering right now because of someone's bright idea. Again, this isn't rocket science, man. It isn't rocket science. But people are pretending it is. People are making it out to be bigger than what it is. And it's really sad. It's really sad that we've lost that ability to think with our own minds. We're believing a narrative that's pushed by a lot of people that don't even give a fuck. They don't even give a fuck. Black Lives Matter brought in what, $9 billion or something last year, whatever the fucking ridiculous number it was. How much of that has gone to the problem? How much of that has done any, you know? Hey, Patrice Cullors got fucking 4 houses out of it, right? You know? I don't know. I guess that game plays well, you know? Even to the point where Breonna Taylor's family was saying Black Lives Matter hasn't done shit for us, you know, and it's true. How many of the so-called Black Lives leaders have been caught misappropriating funds? You know, I mean, I hope they catch this Patrice Cullors person. You know, how does she justify that? He telling me being an organizer of Black Lives Matter pays millions of dollars? Fuck, sign me up. Sign me the fuck up. Dude, really, people should be, that are on that side of the argument, they should be insulted by this rhetoric. You know, just take the Georgia voting law, for instance. You know, there's nothing in there that discriminates against black people. And they're trying to make the argument, the people that are trying to make the argument is that black people can't get an ID. I'm sorry, that's insulting. If I was a black person, I'd be insulted. You know? Because you need a fucking ID to drive a car. You need an ID to buy alcohol and cigarettes. Most black people have an ID. And if they don't, well, that's their own fucking problem. Because it's not hard to get an ID. I don't care what fucking state you're in. It's not hard to get an ID. So that whole argument, if I was a black person, I'd be insulted. And why wouldn't you want to prove who the fuck you are? If you're going to put your name on a ballot, I mean, you don't put your name on a ballot, but if you're going to slap it down, why shouldn't you be able to prove who you are? It should be a no-brainer. You got to prove who you are when you get on a plane. You got to prove who you are when you fucking buy alcohol or cigarettes. You got to prove who you are when you're getting a driver's license. You know, when you get pulled over by the cops, you got to prove who you are. But you don't have to prove who you are when you vote ID. Again, the argument is so stupid and asinine, but yet here we are. I guess my message is, wake the fuck up and realize that you're being manipulated. You are being manipulated because of your skin color. That's basically what it is. You're being manipulated because they don't give a fuck. They're just hoping that you agree with their argument and that you will vote for them the next time around. That's it. It's that simple. That fucking simple. They hope that you will agree with them and buy their product because now they're woke. year and a half ago didn't give a fuck about Black Lives Matter. Now all of a sudden they do, right? Black Lives Matter has been around a lot longer than a year and a half ago, you know? Black Lives Matter started under Obama. Black Lives Matter has been around for almost a decade. Only now people care about it. And newsflash, they're going to stop caring about it because the conservatives aren't buying these products. No. Coca-Cola, you're gonna tell people to be less white? Well, then the white people are not gonna buy your product. Well, how quickly did they change their tune? When the petition came around, they didn't put their name on it. Why? Because they realize, hey, Michael Jordan said it best. White people buy sneakers too. When they tried to get Michael Jordan to declare his political position, it's like, man, I ain't touching that one. Because you know why? White people buy my shit too. The most smartest thing ever said about fucking consumers. It's like, hey, you can say that, but you're gonna just alienate a whole bunch of people that actually buy your product. So all these corporations doing this, all these products doing this, they will all change their tune. They will all change their tune. Look, the Olympic Committee is banning Black Lives Matter. Wrap your head around that. Okay? Why are they doing that? Because they know it's fucking poison and it's only going to hurt their bottom line. Right? They're not doing it because they actually give a shit, because they don't. They're only doing it because they care about their bottom line. And you know, all these companies that are pushing this, they're going to do the same thing to this movement. When they realize they're not making the same amount of money because they just alienated, you know, a whole bunch of their base, they're going to stop doing it. You know, the sports, they're going to all stop doing it. The last one to stop doing it will be the NBA, right? But they will eventually stop doing it. That should be a big wake-up call. It's like, dude, they were just pandering to you. Even the politicians, they will stop doing this because they will realize what it actually, or realize that it's not working. You can't tell a whole race of people that they're evil and then expect them to believe you, buy your product, whatever. It's just not feasible. But again, human fallacy. We got to learn the hard way, right? I just hope it's not too late. I hope we haven't crossed that bridge already where we can't go back. It's looking more every day that we've already crossed that bridge, but I mean, I want to say I have hope for the human race, but to be honest, I'm like 50-50 on that one. And I know we say we can't be fence sitters, but I'm sorry, I'm a little 50-50 on that one. Don't know. Maybe if half the country pulls their head out of their ass and stop being idiots.